Hello, and welcome to another episode of The Well-Appointed Dusk. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about how my March went and do just a brief setup for April. So let's get started. As you can see, I have a lot of pink going on. When I was setting up the printable, which is available for free to anyone who is a member of my Patreon, and I do these in B6, A5, A6, and weeks sizes. But when I was setting this sheet up, what I discovered was that the full moon in April is called the pink moon. And so that was sort of my inspiration for the whole sort of look. And I also know that in April, usually that's when like late March, early April is when all the cherry blossoms bloom, and around here we have magnolias that are blooming. So I'm just really vibing on the pink flowers. So I hope everybody enjoys that. I thought it would be kind of fun. So this is my monthly calendar tip-in for B6, A6, and weeks sizes. It's set up as a 2-page document where you just print on the short fold, or like on the short edge, double-sided, and then just there's crop marks to trim it out with a craft knife. For A5 sizes, what will have to happen to be able to print it on a US letter size print, you'll have to do 2 separate sheets. One will have the cover and the left-hand side, and the other will have the right-hand side and the back page. So I printed mine out on sort of a cream paper stock this time, which I thought would be kind of fun. It just feels very creamy and pretty. I've printed some of my other ones on like a craft paper, colored paper. I just like playing around with it. So before I go any further, hi, welcome. If you have not ever watched these, this is somewhere between a plan with me video and a just a chitty chatty sort of video. So please bear with me. Also, I just came back this week from Chicago Stationery Fest, and I got crud. I get the crud. We refer to it as con crud because we used to go to a lot of like comic book conventions, and inevitably by the end of the weekend, you would get con crud from just there being thousands and thousands of people, and someone somewhere probably had the funk, some kind of cold or flu or whatever, and inevitably I pick it up. And so this is my second bout of con crud in the month of March. I got it from Baltimore, from the Baltimore Pen Show. Could have been from the airport. I'm not blaming anybody at the Pen Show. And then in Chicago at the Stationery Fest, I also acquired a lovely case of con crud. So apologies if I sniff or cough or make any other kind of disgusting snotty noises. I'm doing my very best to keep my shit together today because I'm just, you know how when you have a cold and your head is all stuffed up and all you want to do is lay on the couch and watch cartoons and have someone bring you a juice box, but as an adult, that isn't always an option. That is how I feel today. So first thing when I do these printouts, okay, I'm going back to the regularly scheduled program already in progress. What I normally do with these is use a corner rounder, and this time I remembered to bring it, and I didn't have to stop the video and go find it, and just round the 2 outside corners just so that they match my notebook. I use a Stalogy B6, and these just... Sorry, this is like the worst kind of ASMR, isn't it? I apologize about that. But that just gives them a nice little rounded corner so that I can put it in my notebook. Before I actually dive into all the fun stuff for April, I want to talk a little bit about March. So one of the things is that, like I said, I got sick twice this month, and that... You know, when you're laying in bed for an entire day or 2 or 3, you don't have a lot of energy or interest in doing any kind of writing or journaling or memory keeping because it's all horrible. And then I was also traveling for 3 or 4 days at the beginning of the month and 3 or 4 days at the end of the month. And that throws my schedule off as well. I'm just in a different place. I'm not able to, you know, sort of sit at my kitchen table and and do my journaling in the morning or in the evenings. Like, you understand, your schedule just gets off, things get a little chaotic. And so of course I missed days, and my effort here is to talk about not punishing yourself if you miss a couple of days or a whole week or whatever. For whatever reason, you're busy, if something happens, you don't feel well, you're taking care of family, whatever. And so what I did and what I have done in the past is, on days when I am unwell, I just write sick at the top of the page. At least then, and I mean, I don't even do it on the day. Sometimes it's 3 or 4 days later when I finally feel well enough to, open my eyes. I will just make a quick note. In some instances, I will add in a few little details if I remember anything in particular, like friend brought me soup or anything like that. But this Monday was the Monday I came back from Baltimore. So basically I was on an airplane most of the day. And when I got home, my throat was sore and I was feeling really cruddy, and I was kind of off to the races. So I realized that these pages feel really unloved and sad, but I'm not going to punish myself or hold myself like to some some goal that that's inachievable, that I can't accomplish, because stuff happens. And so my best advice to you, if this happens, if you get busy doing something at work or you're just too tired or whatever, that when you have more energy, go back and just write in a few notes of whatever you can remember. So this was that Friday, I started to feel better and I started packing for the next show because I really had 1 week between events. And so like that whole weekend, it was the same thing. I was still under the weather. I was still just trying to get my feet back under me. So there wasn't really a lot to write. So as I started to feel better, things started to fill in again. So this is where I'm saying, like, don't punish yourself if you have a day where you have nothing to write, or you just feel too unwell to do anything, or you're too busy, or something comes up. It happens to all of us. And so my advice is just keep going. Turn the page. When you feel up to it, tackle the next page. And you can always go back and fill it in. And in the case of these pages that don't have anything, I still have tons and tons of stickers I could just stick in here. I could go back and just use this space for something else. Just draw a line right here and just use it for random note taking or something I want to remember, a list of funny things or movies I want to watch. So like I said, as I got further along, I was able to fill in and write more. But some of this I had to go back and write when we got home, because like we drove home on Monday, the 24th, and I couldn't write while I was in the car. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen the highways in Missouri, but they're so bumpy that like it would have looked like one of those tests that they, that you take to see if you're like a lie detector test. The lines would be like all over. So like, it's all fine. So as things got better, I was able to get more in here. My theme for March, I just went along with the artwork that I created, which was sort of these fairies with their little umbrellas. So I just stuck with sort of light color, like, that spring green and some mushrooms and just a little kind of fairy vibe. I taped in some leaves that I acquired. I went to Trader Joe's and they had St. John's wort that you could get like as a little bouquet. And I know that St. John's wort is supposed to be good for like stress and anxiety. So I thought it would be nice to have a little bouquet in the house to kind of chill things out while I was under the weather and doing all this stuff. So I just take the leaves and I tape them down with some washi tape and shut the book, and I call that pressed flowers, like it's just easy peasy. So that is little recap. I did create some new day of the week stickers, and so once they were finished, I just stuck them over where I had actually written the date. But I'm really excited to use the final versions. These were a little bit light. The new versions that I have are sort of craft colored and printed in black, so you can see the paper stock is darker than what I had here. This was, I always get the leftovers, the ones that didn't turn out quite right. So this is the new sheet. I'm really happy about it. My friend Madeline did the lettering, and it matches. It's sort of the same styling that is on the mini calendars. So I'm very pleased with that. And that's up on the shop if you're interested. But yeah, so we can now move on to April. And like I said, when I get to the end of the month, in this case, Monday will be the last day. I just tip in this sheet using washi tape, and I once again went through my existing stash of washi tape and just picked out things that were sort of this like lovely turquoise aqua blue and some pinks. And some of these were actually left over, I think, from February and what I was doing in February. So the only one that is from the shop is this one from Jar of Pickles, which is this like dusty pink with gold foil leaves. Very pretty. I very much like it. The rest of these were just crap I had laying around. And so I continue to make an effort to just sort of reuse the stuff I already have. And kind of attempt in some capacities to sort of start using this up, because I just have, like everyone else, I have so much of it. And, you know, we all tend to hoard it because it's pretty or we like it, or, you know, a friend picked it up for us while they were traveling. But eventually it's going to lose its stickiness or degrade in some other way. And so you might as well just use it up and get enjoyment from it now, rather than, you know, one day pulling a roll out and it's all stuck together or something. So as I have done in the past, if you haven't seen any of these videos before, I just put washi tape along so that it's just sort of halfway, and you can kind of probably see the light through it, halfway up. And then I will kind of bevel the edges just a little bit, just because then it won't like stick up on the other side. And I fold it back and I just wedge it as far into the spine of the book as I can. So as this is these inserts are supposed to be B6 size, they are actually just slightly undersized, so they shouldn't stick out of your book. And then I just rub my tape down with my finger, and I did get a little slit in there. That was my fault. My nails were pointy. But I'm going to put another piece on the back side once it's in there. And you can use the same colored tape or different tape. I think I'm going to use this aqua stripey stuff. I apologize about the sniffs. I'm sorry. Doing my own work and look with my head down is just making my nose run. I'm so sorry. It's so gross. So, and on this one, I just kind of eyeball so that it's half on the paper and half on the tip-in. That's what the fancy name for what this is a tip-in. That's what we called them when I worked at Hallmark, and we would like have that little insert sheet on the inside of cards. It was known as a tip-in. So now you know, fancy terms. So, and then I just trim off the end, and I'm usually way less specific on the back than I am on the front, because I tend to show more people the front than the back. So that is all there is to that. And now that is all in there, theoretically I would spend the next 20-30 minutes sort of walking through my process of applying artwork, but under the circumstances I'm really feeling under the weather, so I will go through sort of what I've picked out to go in my book this time, but I don't think I'm going to go through the whole process today, just because I feel terrible. You can kind of see I'm going to use similar techniques to what I have done in the past, which is usually a little bit of washi tape, a couple of stickers, and then I add a date dot for my date, and this time I'm going to use my day of the week stickers for my day of the week, so that I don't have to write them all out by hand. So I think that's going to speed up the process a little bit. But like I did it here too. There's just a little piece of washi, a couple stickers. You know, sometimes I stick extra ones in the corners, but I tend to just sort of make a little clump, and I move them around the page so that there's not all the sticker stuff all in one spot, because then the notebook will get real thick in one spot. So I do try to vary. Sometimes I try to put it towards the center. So like I'll do a spread where maybe both of them are in the middle, and then I write around the edges. Sometimes I do them on the outside, and then I write on the inside. And it helps me to feel more creative because each page layout is different. I know some people love to do every single page with the same layout, and that's great. I'm just somebody who gets bored really easy, and so I have to like move things around. So let's go through the stickers and stuff first. I talked a little bit about the washi already. So for the stickers this time, I still have a few of these like washi, die cut washi stickers that I got probably on Amazon at some point, and I just keep using them to just use them up. I would prefer in the future maybe to not buy so much stuff from Amazon, because I know that their business practices are a little questionable, but I already own them. I'm going to use them. I'm going to put them to good use. They're quite lovely, actually. So nothing like, I will put a link to where you can get them if they're still available on Amazon, because certainly I will not deny anyone the opportunity to have whatever it is that they love most in the world. You know, no shame. Sometimes Amazon's the only way to get things anymore, so I get it, especially depending on where you live. So no shame, do what you need to do. I pulled out a little packet of the Kidda stickers that I felt like might go with. They're a little bit more graphic, but I thought it'd be a nice touch so that everything didn't feel so retro and so vintage. But these are those little like washi stickers, so they're just like small pieces. I tend to like to rip them so that they get more of a natural edge, and then these ones have just like a little bit of, they look like little paint strokes, and I thought these will be really good. The other two, they may be too bright for me. I will see. I have this little tiny Journey is the Destination thing, and it's just a beautiful like washi tape sticker. I don't remember where I got it. I think I got this at the Chicago Planner Con last year. I don't remember if it was a freebie or if it was something I bought from somebody's table. But yeah, so like, holding on to that. From my stash of stickers, like I said before, I think I'm going to use blue date dots this time, and my days of the week. Since I have so much like pink washi tape and stuff, I thought the blue ones would be nice. From the sticky stickers, I realize they don't go at all, but these are so stupid cute. These are called Darling Ducks, although I think they look like geese. But the sticker set's called Darling Ducks, and it's just these ridiculous ducks or geese like taking a bath on the computer, riding a bicycle. I just love them. So I'm going to try to figure out how to use a couple of those this month. I will continue to use, these are Lovely Leaves. This is another set that I keep using. It's just nice like to lay underneath like a little flower sticker or something like that, and just gives it a little bit of greenery. These sheets all came out of the, what is this book called? The Botanist's Sticker Anthology. This was another piece that I picked up off of Amazon a couple years ago. These are all sort of large die cut stickers. They're, you know, like just this transfer paper on the back. They're kind of big, but oftentimes what I do is I'll just cut a little section of it and sort of put it on the edge of the page. But if you need filler, like I might need to go back, and there's several pages in the Botanist Sticker Anthology that are like mushrooms and stuff. I might go back and add them to March on all those days when I was sick and there's nothing in there. So these are the ones that I pulled out because they had that sort of pale pink or sort of white. There's some bugs. Bugs are always good. And then they had these large sheets, and this is like a full sheet sticker. It's like, it is probably B6 sized. I don't know how I will use this, if I'll just like tear or cut a little piece of it or something, but I thought it was really pretty. So those are the bits that I was planning on adding in. For pens, let's see, we'll get some of these stickers out of the way. Oh, a few of these other stickers are actually from the Peter Popper Press Bunches of Botanicals. And as you can tell, my book, like, there's not much left of it because I've been using it for about a year and a half, 2 years. So it is really, like, there's not much left in here. So I went through and I just picked out anything that was sort of a pink flower that I still had in there to use it up. There are brand new copies of the Bunches of Botanicals in my shop if you would like to purchase a copy of this. These are really fun. There's over 500 stickers and the books cost like $11 or $12. So it's a great value. I've really enjoyed using them, and I pretty much have one of every one that's in the shop because I like using them so much. So, of course, I only put stuff in the shop that I would actually want to use. That seems fair, right? So those are all the stickers that I'm going to use. This is all the washi tape. So let's get down to the pens. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. So this month for pens, this is like my go-to pen, my favorite, just a standard, it's a Sailor Pro Gear. This one came from Nagasawa. I want to say it's called Spring Green or Campus Green or something like that, but it's like my signature color. It matches my weeks perfectly. So, and I tend to always have like a mossy green ink in it. So it just sort of stays. It's basically my black pen, if anyone is curious. So, but I did fill 2 new pens for this month. One pink and one aqua. And the pink is the Line Friends collection from Sailor. And this one has the like little, I think it was a bunny, maybe it was a bear. And there's actually a little bunny head embossed or engraved on the nib. I got this for my birthday a couple years ago and love it. So this one has Colorverse Lights on Cirrus in it. This was one of Colorverse's very first collection, like their very first release of ink. And it's one that I continue to go back to. I just love this color. So that's going to be one of my fountain pens for like regular writing. And I went with a little bit brighter pink than I picked for the markers and stuff, because obviously for writing and in a very fine nib, I wanted a color that was going to be legible. And then the other one is this lovely Franklin Christoph V45. This V is for Van Ness. This was a design specifically for Van Ness, which is this sort of slightly aqua Coke bottle color. I love it. It's so pretty. And I put Califolio Olanga in here, which sort of matches the pen. And again, is a little bit darker color than the blue markers that I picked. So it's just nice to have sort of a little bit of variety in terms of brightness, like light and dark. So, and particularly for writing, it's those I tend to pick a little bit darker colors for that, unless it's a really wide nib. So the rest of the pens are just an assortment, again, out of my collection. I've started keeping my pens in jars by color, which makes this process a lot easier. I just go to the jar with the pink pens and I start picking out ones that maybe feel right for this. I wanted light colors of pink versus, you know, other months where I might have wanted like a brighter, more pinky purple or something. So what I ended up picking out was the Kuretake Zig Clean Color Dot. This is one of those pens that has the little dot thing on the end, which is great from like if you're making a list. You can use the dot. Either you can put an X through it when you've completed the task, or you can use it to indicate just like a bullet, like for a bullet list. And then the other end is basically just like a fine liner, which is great for, you know, writing little headers or anything like that. I pulled just a Sailor or a Zebra mild liner. This is one of the regular ones that has the chisel tip on one end and then the sort of bullet marker tip on the other. And again, it's very similar in color to the Pentel Sign brush pen that I pulled, but I thought if I wanted to highlight anything or underline anything, I would use the mild liner. And then if I'm writing anything and I want to do like fancy calligraphy or whatever, this Pentel Sign brush, which is also called a Pentel Touch, and this one is in pale pink. So I pulled 2 of the collection of these are the Bandai is the brand. Bandai Namco does a Dot A pen. It's like E with a little accent over it. And one end of these is like a fine liner. So just your regular fine liner, like a Marvy Le Pen kind of fine liner. And then the other end are these little square dots. So these are, again, great if you want to make little borders. A lot of people, it has almost that 8-bit vibe. Or if you want to make a list and then use these to do your check, like a checkbox kind of a thing. So I have one in pink and one in aqua. I pulled the Marvy Le Pen Flex in peppermint. So these will probably be the two that I use most frequently throughout the month when I write like a little header, like if I, a special day, like a birthday or something like that, I will tend to write those on in my planner with like a fancy pen. So that's usually, and I end up usually using the brush pens because by that point I really want to do some fancy lettering. The other one is this Zebra mild liner brush. This one has a much bigger brush tip, so I tend to not use it. I mean, look at the size difference between these two. So if you have smaller handwriting or have a smaller notebook, I would recommend the Marvies over the mild liners, just because this utilizes quite a bit of space. This you can kind of use in smaller areas or if you write smaller. So I have them both just in case. And then I always throw in a couple of gel pens. I have one in pink and one in like a blue black. So this is the Zebra Sarasa Clip in a 0.4, and it is, I think it's like hot pink or something. Once again, it's all written in Japanese, so I don't know exactly what the color is, but I'm sure on Jet Pens, it would be easy to find something like it, or this one exactly. And then the other one is this Juice Up, the Pilot Juice Up in an 04, and this came in a set of, I think they called them their blacks or something. So it's like the set was like 4 or 5 pens, and they had a blue black, a green black, a red black, a brown black. I think that was it. There might have been one more, and maybe a purple black, something like that. But it's just a deep color. And again, like I said, if I'm writing, sometimes I like to have a bit darker color, especially if I have lots of other stuff going on in the page. A little bit darker ink is nice to have if I want to call something out or make it a little bit more visible. So those are all my pens. I showed you all the washi. I will probably spend this weekend doing a little bit of planner setup. So maybe I'll put some pictures up on Instagram next week of some of the page layouts. I also kind of just have random tabs that I use to mark each month. Sometimes it's just a folded piece of washi tape, which works great, especially if you're in a pinch, and I just attach it to the calendar page. So I think for this month, I might just use a bit of that pretty pink floral washi tape to make my tab. And then I think I'm ready to go. So thank you so much for hanging out with me and watching my silliness. I realize this is probably not as planned with me as I would have liked to have been this month, but I hope you guys understand that I have very quietly tried to use up like 3 tissues while we've been doing this. So I'm going to log off, get this uploaded, and go back to bed. So thank you so much for watching. I look forward to doing this again. Please let me know if there's anything in particular you'd like to see more of, and I would be delighted to share. So take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye.